Oh man, it is time. Popples, are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready for this. Are you ready for this?
I am most definitely ready. We are here for the Azubu Crystal Cup number 2, Game 3 of the finals. Killing Dominion took Game 1 pretty handily. Clueless said, nah, we ain't about that. We're going to bring it back, and we're going to take Game 2. And now here we are, final game. Let's see what they changed, what bans, what picks, what is going to come out that is going to take this last game.
Strategy at hand seems to be ban Wolfer.
Yeah, that seems to be what they're doing. They have banned the Fizz, they've banned out the Nocturne. I would be very surprised to see a Hecarim ban come out, but we'll see what happens. Syndra being banned out, getting taken away from that Snide.
So we're going to see entirely new bot laners unless Snide opts to play Brand again.
He might do so. Well, he didn't actually go bot with that brand. We did have the Jack spot.
Oh, but after that game, it was very clear that his bot laner could not handle the duties that are the bot lane.
That is true. Wolfer is a very well experienced bot lane, and you need to know what you're doing if you are going to be taking that bot lane against him. And Irelia actually being banned out. Very interesting here. I don't know anyone to play Irelia, although
Wolfer's backup.
Wolfer, I was gonna say, unless Wolfer has a super backup that I haven't seen in a while. Oh man.
I would just sit Parker's bottom lane and let him play Ramos top, unless he's gonna... Like, he has a couple other champions, but I mean... They went so far as to ban the Irelia. I mean, he has Hecarim and his Skarner, really are his two things I would expect him to turn to.
Yeah, I honestly think we could see the Parkers going bot, but forgot the icing is going to be taking the Maokai, the #1 champ on Dominion right now, being picked up.
So Clueless just lost the game. I don't know what else to say. I think they're trading Maokai for Zyra+1. That is the trade. And instead of banning Janna, that's a statement. They're saying Matt Portal's Janna is scary enough to let the best champion in the game mode through. If you get the second best champion in the game mode +1.
I think that's it. You know what? I think we could just drop the stream now. I think that's just going to be it. Turn it off. Everyone can go home. We're all done here. The Maokai has gotten through in a finals game. Oh man.
I mean, it's the gamble. You're taking #2 +1 for #1 as second pick. That's as best as you're gonna get, but I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. I mean, that's the gamble of a lifetime in the grand final stage.
The finals match, there is cash on the line. Most of our Dominion tournaments, you know, we play for RP, so we kind of have some fun with our picks. So we still take it seriously, but when you got the money on the line, like, you could pay some bills with that. And leaving the Maokai open, it's a very interesting thing. Matt Portal picking up his Lulu, very well known for it. Almost, I think, like a 99% win rate across all of the Dominion tournaments with this Lulu here. And the Talon being picked up. First Talon we have seen in a very long time by Desire.
Talon is a very interesting pickup here. While Talon is very, very good against Zyra, he is terrible against Alistar. So what picking Talon does is it constrains Alistar's movement. It really won't let Bibipop pick an aggressive champion that's not like Elise. That's very, very elusive. His Pantheon and his Jarvan really need the backup from his Alistar to go in, and if Alistar goes in, nothing's there to protect Desire. She kind of has to fend for herself.
Yeah, I mean, if Talon tries to go in and, you know, the cow just says no and headbutts him away, there's not much he can do about it. Like, Talon is a great pick against Zyra. I've seen it go to great effect. But, gosh, I don't know. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, there's still a Maokai there. That's that's the biggest thing, is how is Clueless going to handle this Maokai?
It seems like they're going to build a pretty stalwart Jarvan. He's going to have to be, you know, Ninja Tab by Hex Drinker, maybe Trinity Force, or, you know, a little health item. He's going to have to be very bruising. They're going to opt to pick Malzahar, which makes me think that the Zyra might even be going, well, no. I guess they're just going to do Zyra top lane with Alistar, and their last pick has to Maybe that's their top comp. It's a 1 AD, very AP heavy top comp, but they're very high damaging APs. It's very awkward to look at.
Well, the thing I could see with the Malzahar is if you can get a good ult off on the Talon, Talon is done. Although, you know, the cow can also headbutt it away. The other thing that we have to take into account is, although Maokai became very strong, he still builds a lot of HP, becomes that big tank, and Malzahar is very well known as a decent tank buster. You know, he can lock him down, he does have that percentage damage on null zone, so they might be trying to go for something with that. I mean, if they catch anything else out with the Mal's ult, it's pretty much dead. But Snide actually bringing out the Lucian.
The good thing about Clueless's comp so far is all of these champions have a very good build to build in the MR. You know, the other team, it's Lucian. Lucian is going to be pretty elusive, but Malzahar is pretty good against him. You know, Jarvan's decent, you know, Alistar is decent, and Zyra has her plants, you know. The plants die relatively quickly, but, you know, she's not particularly threatened. I expect Lucian to go to Desire. He's the AD carry player. Snide might take Talon into the bot lane. I'm not sure what he's taking bot lane, because he can play Orianna, he can play Lucian, he can play Talon. Those are one of those three things I would expect him to play.
Yeah, the thing is, Snide is a great AD carry player. We've seen him pull out stuff like, you know, Misfortune bot lane. I've seen his Lucian in solo queue, and it's incredibly difficult to deal with. It's very, very strong. And with Lucian getting those recent changes to his dash, and them being so strong that they're pretty much, you know, they kind of just disabled him outright in LCS earlier, he might be an incredibly dangerous pick right now in bot lane. And is Wolfer really going to go for the bear? He is.
Let's have a bear. Yeah, Wolfer has a lot of awkward champions like Hecarim that we don't see too often. The bear is one of them. Again, a champion that's really, really good at beating people pre-level 9, and he really has to snowball that advantage he gets during that point in time into really winning the rest of the game.
Yeah, if he can get a good lead, he'll be able to hold it, and he'll be able to win the lane and snowball really hard. But if he gets behind, he's going to have a lot of trouble catching up. He's going to be able to build some really good resistances against that Lucian. He can get that Randuin's for the extra slows and the catch-up with his chase. I just don't know. With the recent changes to Lucian and him being so mobile and able to get his dash back up so fast, I don't think it's going to matter if he catches up to him and flips him, because he's just going to dash away and walk away.
If Lucian gets flipped with the build Wolfer uses, which is anything from Static Shift to Trinity Force, he's not going to have a time.
He's just going to die outright.
He's going to die. Well, like, Volibear is one of those champions. He has a physical damage execute. He has magic damage ultimate. He builds a lot. Well, the way Wolfer builds him is he has actives that deal additional burst damage, and he also builds Ghost Blade occasionally. He's just going to run you over. That's the goal. He touches you once and you die.
Pretty much.
The thing is, Orianna has a very good matchup against the bear. If the god himself wanted to go bottom, you know, they have all their team really can go bottom. It's just Snide's the best bottom laner of them all, even though he doesn't like to do it.
Yeah, Snide is a very mechanically skilled player. He's just really, really good bot or top. In this situation, when you're going against someone who does bot lane all the time, especially in the high tournament pressure, it's better just to send your best bot laner down there to handle it. And I'd be very surprised if Snide went top of this game. And Wolfer actually bringing along Barrier. That's very interesting. Heal right now I still think is a lot stronger than Barrier. I don't think the changes have gone through to nerf heal relative to Barrier.
Heal is also affected by Ignite, which you would take if you ever respected a Volibear and his passive. Mm-hmm. Clearly the opposing team doesn't respect the Volibear. They don't really have to. They have Glitterlance, they have Orianna, and they have Maokai. Top team shouldn't really care about him. He might just get fat and in their face occasionally. But, you know, running an exhaust against a Volibear is interesting. It might give him time to get that second dash off, but he's still going to lose the trade. And if Volibear just opts to walk away, can get in the brush where Lucian doesn't have vision, you know, he's just going to get good trades. But it's going to be an interesting thing, because I expect there to be a lot of action in the bot lane very early on.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of heavy aggression coming out from Wolfer. Snide's just going to try to sit back, farm up, get the build going, get that CDR. Probably going to rush a Ghost Blade with some Lucidity Boots. That's been the cooldown, I dash around everywhere build that's been popping up lately. But I don't know. We'll see if they decide to send the Ori down instead, because if it is the Lulu, Lucian, Maokai, Talon up top, They're going to be lacking on the AP damage, but the AD damage will be there. It'll be very strong. It'll be very hard to deal with. Lucian isn't someone you can just lock down super easily.
I honestly expect Snide to pull one of my numbers and just sit bot lane, chill, farm to 9 minutes, take a 2k gold advantage on an AD carry, and walk top lane and try not to get destroyed by Alistar and Malzahar, because those are the only two things that are really a threat to him.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Pulling one of the, I'm just going to sit and farm until I can swap out with someone, and then once I'm farmed up, I'm going to turn into a terror and just go destroy everything up top. So, we're going to get into this. It's going to be Game 3 of the finals. I'm super excited. After seeing that first game, I didn't know if Clueless had it in them to bring it back, but they showed me wrong. They're like, you know what? We ain't going out without a fight. They took it into this Game 3. Oh, man. Got some delicious money on the line. And let's get into this loading screen. It is going to be Killing Dominion, aka New Kids on the Block, versus the longtime heroes, Clueless. Gonna have Forgot the Icing, rocking that Maokai, currently the strongest champion in Dominion.
Presumably.
Presumably.
Skinless, to be noted.
Skinless Maokai, excuse me. He is also a lot weaker because he does not have a skin. Haunted Maokai does a lot of work. Meanwhile, normal Maokai, he's just so bland that he's not very intimidating.
Some people like to give gifts of saplings. You know, they're the best gifts to give around, you know.
Good old Christmas tree, yeah.
'Tis always the season to be jolly.
Stacking up saplings all over the place and watching people walk into them and be like, yes, that was a great gift. I really hope you enjoyed that. Man, gonna have Matza Portal on his Lulu. Generic gonna run that Zyra again. Let's see if he can top those damage charts just like last game. Hafe gonna be running the Mals. Parkhurst has his cow. This is gonna be a very, very good game.
Clueless running a bunch of comfort picks, and we have, you know, this is the third unique team comp we've seen from Snide's team. You know, Mansapoto playing a champion he hasn't played a very long time. Is Lulu's supposed to be rusty? He said that he was going to come into this tournament and he was going to make everybody ban their Lulu again. Well, nobody cared, and this is the first time he's played it. So let's see if he loses or he wins, because that might determine the next time when we come here if it's going to get banned out or not.
Yeah, Mike, after losing, I think when he was undefeated and he never got to play his Lulu, I want to say that he got a little rusty on it, and people just kind of, you know, figured he couldn't play it anymore. They let it through a few times, saw he wasn't rusty, was like, okay. But then a team came along, said, you know what, we're not scared of your Lulu. We are going to leave that open, and we are going to win. And since then, people just kind of stopped banning it. He swapped to Janna, and that became the new target ban.
A couple of the hard Dominion players, you know, they go on hiatus every now and then. Matt Supporter was one of them. Didn't really play the game for a good 7 months. Came back, you know. Janna still had the mechanics for it, run up, shield people. Not the hardest thing in the world to do, but some people make it look tough. You know, Parkhurst might not have the best Janna in the world. Claims Janna's an easy champion, but you know, those two players are very good friends, but they cannot play each other's champions to save each other's lives. Two supports, but very, very different play styles.
Yeah, very, very different. Alright, and it does look like it is going to be got himself in that bot lane on the Ori, so Wolfer's going to have to work a little bit for these kills. Ori's very good at just keeping the spacing and kiting away. So.
This is a matchup where, as Orianna, you don't have Ignite, you have Heal and Exhaust, but you're not going to win that sustain fight until you have 4 items with that bear. I expect Wolfer to actually win this lane outright for the majority of the game.
Well, we'll see. Meanwhile, up in top, we do have the plants going down, dropping off the poke, and oh my goodness, Desiree getting chunked down to about 70% there from the Zyra plants, and this is going to be an uncontested turret. Clueless just outright taking the tower. Wow.
Talon out of position for a second. The blue team opted to double cap the midpoint, and they got destroyed for it.
Oh, and it looks like we are going to have our windmill fight, though, but it is going to be in the middle of the map. Got the icing getting caught out and completely nuked down. Goodbye, #1 champion on the map. You were getting taken out. Lulu gonna just whimsy away from that, getting out just fine. Jarvan trying to chase in, put on some more pressure. They do need to be careful though, revives are still all up. Remember, this is the very beginning of the game, everyone does have one revive. Meanwhile, Wolfer in the bot lane, putting some pressure onto that Ori. Oh, and everyone just seems to be falling back, gonna heal up, gonna regroup, rethink what they're doing. Generic getting some good wave push here. Killing Dominion is gonna have to take care of that.
Generic should opt not the base here. He should just run around into his jungle because they have the entire jungle pressure. The terrible thing right now is Wolfer has a huge wave going into his turret, and if Clueless were paying attention, they would immediately beeline the mid because they don't want to let the Volibear have that farm. Ori opted the base, so they're just going to go on a no passive bear in the bottom lane. He should not walk back towards his turret. There's no point. He might be able to 1v1 the Maokai, that's fine, but he is going to get turret dove, and I don't see the correct decision from Wolfer. Just to walk away, let his team pressure as Jarvan and the Parkers jump onto the Lulu in the jungle, and she should most certainly fall.
And Lulu is going to go down, but remember, revives are still up. They have not been popped yet in that initial windmill fight, so they are going to be coming back out. This is going to technically be a 4v8 if all the revives get popped. So Clueless does need to be careful about this.
Back capping the midpoint, which is eliciting a reaction from Clueless. Since they know they don't want to really push into a Lulu 4v4, and Wolfer is capping the bot lane, they have to retreat back and send somebody to deal with this Lucian.
Yeah,
now, the fight's still happening around Parkhurst and Generic and Hafe, but they're trying to fight a 3v4. They have the turret to deal with it, and Parkhurst and Bibipop can't really fight a Lucian at this point in time. So they're going to be in quite a predicament. Wolfer, he's taking this opportunity to immediately push the bot lane. Somebody's going to have to respond to that to at least give Clueless a 3v3 that they can deal with. And Snide's going to have to dip out of the jungle.
Yeah, Snide still being a little on the wrong side of the jungle there. Zyra throwing down some seeds to see where he's going. He's probably going to
Snide's making a good rotation. His Lulu's on the bottom side of the map. She went Storm buff, which she should have did and went down with Snide. Wolfer knows they're in the bottom side of the jungle, so he's going to back off. Very good map rotation. So Parkers is getting in a fight along with Half-Hearted. They're both against Maokai and Talon. So they need to go get a little bit of mana, and then they'll be able to deal with this fight up here. And we see Bibipop making his rotation on the Jarvan. Half-Hearted going to land another good silence.
Oh, meanwhile in the bot, Baby and Wolfer trying to hold this off from God and Snide.
Jin doing his best over here. He needs to not get ulted, but they should be able to hold relatively easily. Jin has Relic and some pots, and Wolfer just slowly but surely looking a little bit more menacing. He could posture on the turret a little bit more to make them pretty scared to leave, but he's trying not to. He knows his Jarvan's going to come around the corner and they're not prepared. Snide dashes down, and Parkhurst looks like he wants to get Snide. He waits and holds, but for his EQ, when Orianna gets the delicious ultimate, Gap Close is still being used. You're going to pick up that kill. Half-Hearted stuck. Top lane, no mana, blows through exhaust, both y'all. It's not going to get the Talon. It looks like the god himself is going to fall to Bibipop and Generic.
He is going to go down, but is he going to take anything with him? It does not seem so. Revive being popped by Snide. He's coming back down in. Is going to be able to snipe. Oh, Generic, but it looks like he is going to get a double, but that bear passive too strong, regenerating way too much health. Not going to be able to get out of there, and I think this Orianna is going to be able to clean up that kill.
Parker's betting a little bit more than he can chew, trying to fight Maokai and Lulu. He has very slow base move speed, but it looks like he's just going to be able to walk away. He opted to buy Sweeper first to get vision on the Talon, and that's very important to note.
Yeah, having that Sweeper means as soon as Talon tries to jump in and do his combo, they're going to be able to pop that revealing mist, and as soon as Talon goes stealth with his ultimate, they're going to be able to see him the entire time. So he's going to have to be very careful about when he uses that ult in those team fights.
Oh, the Talon absolutely challenging the Alistar. Just standing right there and raking him. We have Lucian with the ult coming down in the middle. Getting stuck between a rock and a hard place. Clue needs to find a slow way to retreat out of here. They got the Maokai down really low, but the three carries are at very high HP, and the Talon is roaming in the jungle, so Wolfer has to back up. He's going to see if he can meet him halfway.
And Wolfer coming around, trying to see if he can catch anyone retreating. He does find a Lulu, but that is a Lulu, and Bear isn't going to be able to catch that.
Now Wolfer has found himself in between three people. Very good rotation by the Talon, staying in the jungle, staying out of vision. They're going to get Wolfer. Top lane, Snide's picking a fight with three Clueless members, and he's going to die to the minion, so it's still a 1-for-1. But
nicely
Clueless
done.
are getting the short end of the stick of this as Wolfer took a fight far closer to their point. Their side of the map, and they're going to get bot lane because of it.
Bit of miscommunication. Everyone broke off from the point at the same exact time. I don't think they quite said, hey, you go back, I'll stay. But they are going to end up getting it maybe a few seconds late, but that's okay.
Talon going in on a Parker fairly often here, trying to establish that he's not very afraid, but it's been costing him or his team some health. Forgot the icing, just walking up onto Have. And Have's going to blow the flash. Parker's is going to pay for Have's decision-making right there, as not everybody was prepared for that fight on Clueless' side.
And Have trying to get the silence down. It's not going to matter too much. Parker's is popping that revive, going to try to get back up, but it's not going to matter. The Rake and Lucian are going to blow him up. Now Have blowing that revive, trying to get back up as fast as he can. Top lane is going to go down. They're going to see if they can position for something. Zyra is capping bot, and the bear is up here ready to cause some trouble. Let's see if he can get something done.
We see Talon, he's going to blow his ult on Bebepop. Bebepop's going to go really, really low. Miker's massive portal going to greed for the kill on the Jarvan because he has his ult to back him up. He's not going to fall, but the Jarvan's not going to fall either. Talon really wanted the kill. The Orianna's going to pick it up. The Talon goes in on the Have. Silence lands, and the tank line's finally coming through, but nobody's alive for Clueless to assist the Parkers in this until Jin gets here. Parkers is going to tie up the Orianna, but they can't go past the zoning of the ball. Have's slowly trying to get over there as Talon goes around for the flanks. But he realizes he doesn't have enough vision of the brush, so he can't go in.
Very nice max range Mal's ult landing onto Orianna, locking her down just long enough for the kill, but there is a Lulu and Maokai here. Still a very dangerous combo, and the Lucian is here as well.
Bebepop making a terrible decision. He could have had the Maokai that was walking directly past him. Instead, he tried to go in by himself into the back line. It's going to cause a snowball effect because most of his team is going to die because of that decision to not just kill the front line while it was silent.
And Talon came around from the back, was able to clean up the rest of it there. And Parker's trying to knock away Lucian a little bit, but not getting too much done. And the dashes are coming. Does have that Ghost Blade. He does have those Lucidity boots, so his dash is going to be on a very short cooldown now.
Wolfer getting the speed shrine, looking the posture on the god himself, says Orianna. But he decides to not go around the good way to get the kill. He's just going to go in lane and take a little bit of farm and, do what he can. Parker's still messing with Snide Sentinel over in the midpoint. We have Forgot the Icing just throwing saplings, trying to get some vision. Parkers can eat him. We have Talon doing the thing he does the best, roaming the bot lane, trying to see if he can get those kills every time his ult's up. Wolfer, not particularly the tankiest of people in the world, standing way too close. Whiffed Orianna ult, but they did blow the Talon ult. 2 ults down. They're going to get the point. Wolfer blowing revive, but he's still not going to be able to hold that despite the ult being held down 1v2. And meanwhile, a top fight breaks out. We have Bebepop trying to get the side signal along with a Parkhurst. Meanwhile, in the back line, Generic gets picked off by Lulu, and Lulu got picked off by the Malzahar. So we still have Clueless slowly coming out ahead in this fight, if not even.
And let's see how this handles here. We do have the Super Maokai tank. Building a little bit more AP heavy, going for a Codex instead of a little bit more bulk. And Wolfer down in the bot lane going to say goodnight, Orianna, and chomp.
Red team's Nexus is at 50% health.
But Hafe was able to
Talon
take that.
getting grasping roots over on the turret. The Jarvan's EQ comes in and the dunk damage goes through, but Generic is still going to fall. Legendary Talon, because Generic didn't want to commit the spells to him. But he still gets it because of the minions and his passive.
Very nicely done. That bot point is in control of killing Dominion right now. Massive Portal chilling around, just saying, like, I'm going to poke whoever tries to get this. Very nicely done. Just going to walk away from BB after hitting that Glitter Lance, popping an E on him. And then hitting the Glitter Lance again onto Alistar. That Lulu play. That's why he was undefeated with it for so long. Hafe trying to hold this top turret from the Maokai and Talon. That is a very dangerous spot. Hafe taking the wise man's choice and just going home.
It's generally not worth it to suicide your life to defend a turret. You can just be on the map and somewhere else in the amount of time where you can be useful. Parkhurst, however, a very interesting position. He might live with that flash and that knockback. He does have the most of his teammates. Lucian dashing in the middle of everybody. Pop and Wolf are opting to not fight Lucian plus 2 supports, and they lose one person because of it. Snide Sentinel dashing out of the Zyra, again not committing all of his spells. Pop gonna pop their revive, trying to get the god himself. The god himself is gonna go down. Meanwhile, Maokai, finding himself in between 3 Clueless members, is going to get Malzahar ulted, flipped onto the turret, and dunked post-haste by Wolfer. And meanwhile, the fight's still going out bottom lane. Talon trading with Bebepop getting the better end of the stick, and Lulu still being around. Talon gonna blow his ult, get Pop and take out Zyra.
Some very flashy Talon play there. Using the flashes, using the blinks, getting the positioning. Very nicely done.
Currently 10-1, has this build of Finn already done, opted for a Tiamat as we see Parker's get CC'd up on the turret between Sentinel and Maokai, but he gets a very nice headbutt into the wall and his Q off to knock them both up. It's just not enough. And this is why Talon was a very, very strong pick in the minion. He can just get into the back line and kill them, and he very much so abuses the Fog of War.
Yeah, it's very, very hard when you're coming around the corner, you're getting in the fights, and the Talon is flanking you, or even just running through the fight, and he can very easily get into the back and mess everything up. But Maokai getting a little caught out, the Jarvan EQ coming down, the rest of the spells coming in. The Jarvan ult coming down onto Lucian, but it's not going to be enough. Baby Pop is going to have to run away from that, but the Lulu is there with the E to help clean it up. The Hugify going down on him to keep him alive. The Talon damage coming through, just absolutely mowing through. Oh, and the Zyra passive to finish it off.
See, the only one that can really stop the Talon, and the only one who opted for reliable vision is a Parker's, and as long as the Talon doesn't fight a Parker's or fights a Parker's when he doesn't have his team around, he can just do as he pleases.
Yeah, it was a very team-oriented build, but Clueless just seems to be very disoriented this game. They don't have that flow or that synergy that they were having in the last game.
The issue right here is Malzahar can't ult. Everything on the opposing team can stop it. You have Lulu with her W, you have Maokai going into the backline doing what he's doing right now, even though he's going to die for it. He took the ult to the face. Now the Talon doesn't have to worry about it. We have another fight breaking out. You know, the Orianna's taking part in this one. And the Talon's in the middle of everything. He has shields. He's not going to go down. He has a Lulu and an Orianna protecting him. So Clueless just has to try to run, and Lulu's just going to hunt you down. She has way too much move speed.
Yeah, Wolfer trying to come up, see if he can do something, but the Ori Ball is going to spot him. He's already slowed. Polymorph, and Hape is going to go down in the back line. I think this
But Rake went in the wrong direction, and the Talon is going to go down for it, but and that's all she wrote.
Yeah,
I think there's 100 points left for Clueless. They need to get their act together if they want to have a chance of winning this game.
Orianna very wisely picking up that Merle-Nomicon, able to stop the bear passive when it got really low there, and Wolfer trying to fight the Lucian, but between that and the Orianna slows and Lucian just being so mobile now, he's not going to be able to do it. Popping the Zyra ult just to take him down and get him out of the fight. Baby Pop trying to come through, just raw ults him, not even opting for the EQ immediately, but will take him down.
We have Talon getting the objective, the back half on bottom lane. I don't think he's going to opt to fight Wolfer, but he's not going to have a choice in the matter. He doesn't have ult. That is a lot of immediate burst damage, but it wasn't going to be enough anyway. Hafe making sure it's not with the silence over the top. Meanwhile, top lane, we have Pop finding himself in between Matt Portal and Side Sentinel. Side Sentinel getting the Lulu ult, and it's just way too tanky, covering all of his team, covering the Maokai with his ultimate, and going back to assassinate the Jarvan.
It is just too much to handle. The Maokai getting the good snares on who he needs to, knocking him back, holding him down. Lucian and Talon just running train on him. There's just not much they can do at this point. They're trying to come back out. It's going to be a full fight right here. They might be able to take it. The Orianna ult doesn't hit anyone. They might be able to turn this around, but I feel like they're just getting kited so hard. Like right now, Baby Pop and Wolfer can't do anything because they're just walking trying to get the Lucian, and they can't catch up to him.
Lucian is being quite YOLO, showing into a full health Zyra with no vision, and a cow came and gave him the horn. Parker is trying to get this Orianna, going to do a decent amount of damage, but he opted to not buy a Sheen this game because he needed a sweeper. He's not going to be able to get her. Talon trying to go on Hafe, not having enough damage initially, but he can go back in at any time. He's very, very low on mana and is forced to go into the minion.
And Hafe is probably
so Zyra going to go down to the Maokai in the jungle. A Side Sentinel still on the hunt, chasing down a Jarvan because he knows he has the support of his Maokai, and he really can't run away from this champion anymore from his changes. Nobody in the bottom lane because everybody's just been 5v5 popping. It's utter chaos that Clueless has not been getting the good end of.
Yeah, they can't even win the full 5v5 team fight. It's going to be really hard for them to do anything. I really think this game is just going to be over.
They have 31 seconds to make a play, but the opposing team still has the majority of their revives. They need to get top, and we see Lulu and the Talon coming through the pick off Hafe. The spooky ghost being popped. He needed to throw silence over himself immediately. Did not get it off, and it's going to fall because of it.
And Generic just wisely going down to the bot lane because everyone is just chilling up top. So he said, you know what, you guys have fun up there. I'm just going to go get this bot point. But at the same time, Lucian and Orianna just came off revive, or just came off cooldown for death timers, and Orianna's just going to be walking down to stop that cap.
And unless Generic is going to manage to pull this kill off. Well, I'm definitely not going to get it before he already gets the kill of her own. Wolfer has 10 seconds. I don't think he has enough. Well, no, the point's already low, but he should be able to get this cap in time. This should be game.
Well, we will see. The Zhonya's comes out. If the minions can get there and Wolfer can cap it, maybe. No, the Maokai is here to stop it. I don't know. Is the
longest seconds of
1
Dominion on the last cleanse, but it is going to tick down to 0.
And that is going to be Game 3, going over to killing Dominion. The very convincing final game. You can see the GGs coming out in chat, or hear them rather, because you can't see them on stream. But very nicely played. They won the last one. They managed to take this one again. Very nicely done. So I do have to say, I want to see this rematch again, because like these guys keep bringing out some new stuff. We saw the Talon. We haven't seen a Talon played in quite a while. You know, Snide bringing out the Lucian. They did let the Maokai through. It was a full AP Maokai instead of the dedicated tank, but I felt like it was still a very bad decision to let that get through on him.
AP Maokai, in my opinion, is the stronger build. I am not particularly a fan of tank Maokai. While the champion is so strong, I do believe that Roa is most certainly a core item and will always be on him, and he really didn't need to be a full tank. He still did his job because Maokai has so many base stats and opted for emergers and just so much health that he can do his job while also doing damage.
Yeah, he did get that Haunting Guise. He also got a BFT to help out with that Lulu damage. Lulu, as Mad Portal normally does, he goes into those full AP Lulu builds, get the Twin Shadows for the extra utility. But when you got BFT going down, it increases all the magic damage from your entire team. So even if, you know, Talon or Lucian have any kind of magic damage, that will also be amplified. So having your frontliner with a BFT is actually a pretty good strategy, because they go in, they can normally get the BFT onto something really fast, and it will just blow up. But yeah, looking at our damage charts, we got Lucian and Talon sitting at the top for killing Dominion, and Malzahar sitting at the top for Clueless. But I have to say, some really, really good games today.
Yeah, and I was glad to be a part of them. Thank you for having me here. I'm TG Popples here with my co-caster.
I am Fancy Wolf. You guys know you can find me over at Fancy Wolf LOL. You can find me on Twitter. Follow me. And Popples, I think you have a Twitter now, don't you?
At TG_Popples. If you ever want to follow me on Twitter for any of the shenanigans that I do, I watch and analyze a lot of games. I'll help you out if you ever need anything. Just give me a shout out, whether in game or on Twitter. That's pretty much where to find me.
Yep. And again, big shout outs to Azubu. Thanks for them running this tournament. It's so much fun to come out here and do these big Dominion tournaments like this. I really hope we can expand this and make it even bigger. Like, tell your friends, you guys, if you ever want to get in on this, there's a cash prize, there's a lot of good competition. Dominion has a meta. Dominion has good players. Like, the last time we saw a set of really good players come from another mode was the Twisted Treeline guys. They were all Challenger. They came in, they thought they were hot stuff, and they just got stomped. They got smacked down over and over and over again. And when they finally took the time to say, you know what, Dominion's a different map. We need to learn this map. They rose to the top. They put in that hard work. They practiced, and eventually they were taking first for a few weeks. It was really, really cool to see. All right, and one more thing before we do go, and one more awesome thing from Azubu. If you guys did not hear about it in any of the previous iterations earlier in the stream, Azubu is giving away a signed mousepad by Team Curse. You can win this. It's totally free. You can rock it. And Azubu's giving away a Razer mousepad signed by Team Curse. Yep. And it's signed by Voyboy, Saint, Cop, Nijaki, and Liquid. So a whole bunch of top Curse guys can come win it. It's totally free. We'll post the link in the chat for you guys. All you have to do is do one of these following things, or even all of them. I mean, you can do all of these to increase your chances, or you could even just do one. You could also win, if you don't win the mousepad, there is a chance to win a Teemo hat or a Rammus hat, which is pretty awesome, I do have to say. Because Teemo hats, I have one, they're pretty sweet. Winning a Rammus hat would be pretty amazing. So, one more time, be sure to thank Azubu for everything they've been doing. It's really, really, really awesome. I've been Fancy Wolf. I hope you guys enjoyed the games today.
And this is TG Popples, signing out.
And we will catch you guys later.